do native speakers care about grammar? Hello and welcome. Today, I'm going to be telling you why native speakers do not really care much about grammar. And if you have the ability to speak English but don't have the best grammar, you shouldn't be that worried. You can get your point across and get what you want without the best grammatical structures out there. So, as an English learner, you probably went to an English school where they first taught you how to greet people and the basic English expressions. But then as you kept on studying, things evolved into something a little bit more boring. Grammatical sentences, grammatical structures, and tenses, and all the shebang involving grammar. I'm guessing your lessons became a little bit more boring than usual. But who would blame you? Studying the present simple, the past participle, the progressive tense, the continuous tense. It's a lot. The adverbs, the adjectives. You get my point. Studying grammar can be tedious. And I'm not bashing on anybody who has love for grammatical structures and rules. If you like that, then fine, good for you. But it is not a strategy, or it is not something I would commend that anybody do, torture themselves with grammar. You can get far, and I mean far, without having to open a lot of grammatical books and just cram all that knowledge into your brain. This is not a popular opinion, but if you focus more on absorbing language, if you focus more on inputting language from valid or reliable sources, you will not have to put in so much effort into correcting those mistakes you will make because of not having input. Let's just say you study English at school, right? So as you study English at school, you probably don't have much audio input. You probably don't have that much. Why? Because the only person speaking English is probably your teacher or your colleagues or even yourself, and that is not English from the outside world. It is just English from the inside of the classroom. And that is not, I'm not going to say it's not the best. It's just not what works out there in the world. Okay? When I was in secondary school or high school, as some of you may know it, I had lessons in English, and they were mostly focused on grammar and grammatical structures and how you could speak the right or correct English. I did not enjoy those lessons, And do not get me wrong, I wasn't failing on my tests. I was actually one of the best students there. But I didn't actually focus on grammar. I never studied grammar. Verb conjugation, what else is there? It's just so many things that I don't even care to remember now. Because here's the thing. I was like, I put this as my goal. I want to speak English. Because if you go to America or to England and you ask random people on the streets, hey, do you know what the present progressive is? Do you know the distinction between an adverb of frequency and an adjective maybe? The average person will just look at you and say, what? Because they don't know what that is. They don't know. They might have studied that at school, but that wasn't for them to take it for their lives. It was just for maybe a test and nothing else, nothing more beyond that, So if you like grammar, then it's fine. You can study it. But if you don't, there's no problem. You can still learn English and become good and fluent at it without all the grammar. Let's just look at a few mistakes even native speakers make. Something like, he's doing terrible. Let's just say, he's doing terrible. Oh, he works at a shop, but yeah, he's doing terrible. That sentence makes a lot of sense to an American. He understands. It makes absolute 100% sense. But grammatically, it is not good. It is not correct. Because instead of saying he's doing terrible, you say he's doing terribly. Because you have to swap out the adjective and put there an adverb of manner. He's doing terribly. But who has the time to study that? If you have a test, then go study for it. But I'm just giving you a few mistakes that aren't considered generally mistakes by native speakers. They don't really care as long as it makes sense, you know? Let's look at another mistake here. She left quick. She left quick. This sentence is grammatically incorrect. Instead of saying this, you should say she left quickly. But either way, if you would say a sentence like this to an American, they would not question you. Oh, what did you say, she left quick? What does that mean? No, they understand. They know what you're trying to say. He left quick, she left quick. Oh, it makes sense. But the correct version should be, she left quickly. Another common mistake is people swap or use less and few interchangeably. Let's look at this sentence right here. They made less mistakes. That sentence does not seem to be incorrect. It actually sounds very good to me. They made less mistakes. It totally makes sense. But it does not follow grammatical rule. Because instead of saying they made less mistakes, you should say they made fewer mistakes. That's what makes more sense. You know? Let us look at another one. I think I have 3 more. She wishes she was smarter. She wishes she was smarter. I guess in this one you can point out the mistake. Instead of saying she wishes she was smarter, you would say she wishes she were smarter. You know? Kind of makes sense. But still, if you would say something like this to a native speaker, they would understand. No problem. They would understand, you know. There's people outside. This is a common one, especially Americans. They make this grammatical mistake a lot. There's people outside. It makes 100% sense. When you say there's people outside to an American, he understands. He's not going to ask you, oh, what does that mean? I don't understand. I don't know that grammatical structure. No, he does understand. But it is not grammatically accurate. I'm just trying to prove a point. The last sentence I have here is neither of the kids have a toy. Neither of the kids have a toy. That sentence does not at all seem to be incorrect. It seems to be perfectly fine. But if you look closely at it, you say, oh, instead of saying neither of the kids have a toy, you should say neither of the kids has a toy. Because the verb has to agree with the beginning of the sentence. Neither of the kids has a toy. Neither has. You see all of that effort for something that could have been said otherwise, in another manner, another form? If you don't want to deal with that, then you don't have to study grammar. You don't have to study grammar a lot. So you could be asking yourself, oh, okay, teacher, I get it. But what do you recommend that I do? Here's my honest opinion. If you need grammar to survive, maybe you're studying English to go into the workforce. Oh my God, workforce. I'm sorry. If you need English to go get a job, a professional career, study grammar. Study English, the formal, grammatically accurate English that will not give you any problems. If you are not going to need any proper English, let's just say any grammatical structures in your environment of usage of English, then I would say if you can do without it, if you can study English and see progress without having to cram all of that grammar stuff, then you should avoid it. It's just going to waste your time, you know? Focus on absorbing sentences, words, and just English as a whole, and grammar will come to you. My mother, she learned English while living in a country where they speak English in Africa. And she had a lot of exposure. She would speak with people a lot, you know. She doesn't know what present simple is in English. My mom does not know what that is, but she speaks English very well. And if she could do it, if I could do it, then you could do it too, you know? If grammar slows you down, stop it. I'm not making an apology to ignorance. Please do not get me wrong. Don't get into the comments, oh, grammar is necessary, the verb to be. No, I understand. If you think it's important, and please, do not get me wrong. If you think it is important to you, study it. But if you think you can do without it, then native speakers are not going to care about your grammatical problems if they can understand you. That's just my opinion. All in all, thank you so much for watching my videos, and I will be seeing you on the next one. Bye-bye.